Welcome to the Codes of Sisterhood, a sacred space for women to unlock the codes of connection, belonging, and feminine power. Here we are rewriting the story and remembering what it means to rise together. We are a collective of women gathering to raise the frequency of the feminine, to code what's possible for those who will come after us. This is legacy work for the women who came before, for the women who are here now, and for the women who are yet to come. Welcome, sisters. You found your way home. This is the Codes of Sisterhood. Welcome. So, I'm so excited. Today, I am in a room full of women that I can genuinely, authentically, and full-heartedly say I love. And that has not always been the case. I have not always been able to sit in a room full of women and describe my emotional connection, my rawness, and my love for them. So, a lot of codes have been created, a lot of wounds have been healed, and that is what we are bringing to you today and with this podcast and with these women. So, my name is Linda Barnett, and I would like whoever wants to kind of chime in to go next so we can get this party started.
So I would love to respond immediately to what stirred in me while you were reading our introduction that we've prepared. That raising the frequency of the feminine is, first of all, to me, what stirred in me immediately is that I would love to raise the frequency of my own feminine in me. And that the fact is that what I've been doing here with you, sisters, through our friendship, through our circle, is exactly that. I'm a better woman, and I recognize my womanhood. Over to Maria.
Thank you for sharing that. I really felt that, Anna. And it is such an honor and a privilege to be here with my sisters. And I love every single one of you. Wow. Um, when I first said yes to our conversations and the way that we have been coming together, I I thought I was pretty solid in loving women and sisterhood. And as we've been doing our conversations, I see all the different ways where I've also been afraid, or I've also been judgmental, or I have felt shame, or I have felt jealousy, or I have felt confronted, or I have felt not good enough. And so for me, it is so valuable for us to have these conversations, because I truly believe that together, in our vulnerability and in holding space for one another, that's how we heal ourselves. And that's how we heal sisterhood. That's how we heal being women. And so it is such an honor to be here and to have these conversations. Like that for me has become so valuable and so potent, that it really is having conversations, and that in itself is what releases shame, what creates trust, nurture, togetherness. And when we get to see one another and see that we're not alone, and that we have very similar but different stories, and at the end of it, we just want to experience life to the fullest, and experience love, and experience connection and togetherness. And I truly believe that's why we came together to do this podcast, is so that we can bring that love that we have for one another out there into the world, for every woman to feel at home with herself and in her body, and at home with other sisters and other women around her. Thank you.
Marta, could you just unmute yourself, please?
Thank you. I'm nervous. It's cute to be nervous. I was like, found myself like being nervous. Hi everyone. I'm Marta Napoleon Mazzoni. I know we're talking about our whys. So anybody listening to this podcast, if this is our first podcast, we're talking about our whys of like why we are here in sisterhood, why we are doing this. And for me personally, I never could have imagined myself stepping in to do something like this. Like if you would have asked me a year ago or 2 years ago, like it's so rapid how quickly healing can happen. And yeah, it's beyond our imagination. So for me, my why was, I mean, it starts selfishly. It starts selfishly because it's right, it's for us first. And it was really discovering after my sister died 5 years ago, and we were so close. Like we had such a deep connection, such like so close that it was, I didn't realize until after she died, like the wounds that were there that got revealed, like how much we loved each other, but still I had jealousy, but still I had comparison. And then that started for me, I started to notice, like it's the, I talk about like the awakening and the mindfulness is you can't change anything until you see it. For me, I started to see it. And I started to see where I would see another man in power and notice that I would root for them. But when it was a woman in power, I'd be like, nah, you're gonna, we're just waiting for you to just give up and it's fine. Like you don't have to hold that. And to be able to say that here is like, it just shows me how far I've come. Like I can't even, it's like giving up alcohol for me. I never imagined I could speak about it until you start to heal that wound. And now I don't feel any shame over saying it. I'm proud of myself for saying it, for being here and being like, wow, I want something different for myself. I lost my sister and I really thought that I would not be able to find another sister. And I wanted, this is also an honor of her because I want to show up to other women in my life the way I really wanted to show up for her. And like unapologetically, fiercely loving, non-competitive, like non-judgmental, like raising one another up. And that only came for me, like from the work that I've done on myself to be enough, to stand in my own power and like embrace my full expression and heal and open. And now I'm so excited to play. Like now comes the play, like now comes the playful part. Now comes the part where it's like, yes, we can play with one another. Finally, we got to this place. And for me, I've noticed that it it unravels. Like it has unraveled for me. It's not just like this big opening. It started with, where I felt safest. And then it opened and then it kept opening. And this space, these women that are here are so fucking powerful. Yes, I hope we can swear on this podcast, are so fucking powerful that they have provided such a space to be seen and to be witnessed and to be loved in all of my parts. And I want women to know everywhere around the planet that like all of you is embraced and that you are enough and that when this can happen, you can actually play with other people. Like you can support one another, you can have that sisterhood. So that is my why. And it feels so delicious to me to have that happen for myself. And so I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for allowing me to be here. This is like such a gift.
Marta, thank you so much for opening the portal to speak through family, because it opened a completely different angle for me. My why for being here in a group of women is to learn how to express and co-create with women. But it's so much deeper than that it's just so much deeper than that since I have been able to confront what sisterhood has been for me up until now. I'm Alicia Dawn Siegel, by the way. Um, what sisterhood has been for me. I grew up with two brothers and two close cousins for the first part of my childhood. Um, from the two close cousins, I learned how to really fall into sisterhood camaraderie. But what happened was circumstance had them kind of fall out of my life, and they were in my life still, but my mom didn't use my aunt as a babysitter anymore. So I lost that camaraderie. My family lost the camaraderie that we had with them. So my first example of sisterhood was like, sure, we can do these things, we can have this great time, but it's not going to last very long. And now that I'm looking at like the way that I've called sisters together in circle and in moon groups and things like this, and even forming covens, it's been not just anticlimactic, but quite traumatizing to see how they would fall apart and how they would crumble. And looking at where I am, I lacked the necessary leadership because I was going in with not really understanding my why. You guys, I created a group of women that was really powerful. All my favorite women in my life, I brought them in and I was like, I just want to see what it was like to gather when women could gather before all the persecution happened and before like a lot of women were eradicated from our world at one point in history. And then we are descendants of the survivors. Who survived? Who survived? The most stoic women. Like it's taken us some generations to recover our wild because we're literally descendants from the survivors. Of those catastrophic things. And so I wanted to reclaim my inner wild woman, and I made this intention to gather women so that I could see what it was like to gather back then, before when witches could gather, when the courtesans and things like this were like having the times of their lives. And what I got was like sort of chastised for being too witchy and kind of tossed to the side. So this wound that I'm bringing into this circle and that I'm ultimately healing through the power of our circles that we've had this past year is to come in with a good intention. Like I don't want to just see what happened back then. I want to see what can happen now. I want to see what kind of magic can be created, because what I experienced was betrayal. Back then, maybe women were operating on a different frequency, and that's could have been the inevitable cause of this of us needing to reclaim this now. It's concealment and revelation. If we did not know what we're missing, if we knew what we were missing, we wouldn't be seeking it now at this point in our history. And we are breeding some really powerful world leaders who are women with this group that we're in, the larger collective group that we're in of women who are willing to step into prosperity, women who are willing to step into a deeper sense of leadership, women who are just willing to go higher and deeper and build more than ever before. And I'm so proud to be a part of this. And I'm grateful because what I've learned over the past year of meeting with you guys is it's not just about gathering, it's about gathering with camaraderie, gathering with like love and with honoring each other's voices and honoring each other's presences. And there's the my daughter, I've done a lot of generational work on my line, so she's experienced it, but she just told me that, and I feel kind of naive for not having this thought myself, but I'm also proud of it. She says, Mom, people go on social media to make other people jealous. And I'm like, that's not why I do. I go on social media to shine the light. But when I do shine my light, when I shine my light the brightest, people get jealous of me and then I'm sad about it. But if I'm like shining my light on a platform where people go to get jealous, it's a very different energy that she comes in that I come in with, but it's the same thing, just two sides of a coin. And what I love about our group is that we are willing to be inspired by each other. And if jealousy does arise, which it always does, it's such a natural response, we're using it to point to our destiny rather than get low and feel like an imposter or get low and feel like we're not good enough. Like there's so much here. To reflect with each other. So what I do love the most about this, and it is part of my why, is to be in front of all you women and allow myself to reflect the highest in you and to be reflected back in me, just this like highest possibility of living. So I feel complete with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. That was beautiful. It inspired me to like come up and say my little 2 cents. My name is Julie, and I don't know what it is. Making this official podcast, it just got me all nervous for some reason. I'm like, I got butterflies in my stomach, and it's yeah. So, what inspired me in this conversation as everybody was talking is the fact is that we come with different perspectives and different ways of viewing and different life experiences. And I think that that is something I personally love. Like, I love a challenge. I love learning new things. I love someone telling me, well, have you thought about it this way? And as if those who are like listening or watching, like in human design, I have a defined ajna. So I only see what I see, like it's very black and white. And so when someone comes in for a new perspective, a new idea, a new way of thinking, it's exciting for me. And I think that that is something that we do need a little bit more in the world. We're so used to in the world of tiptoeing, don't want to trigger or hurt anybody, don't want to, bother somebody. It's easier to just agree and just say yes, like totally, and, keep your thoughts and your opinions to yourself. And I think with this group of ladies, like every call that I've been on, I've learned something new, and it's done in a way of love and compassion. It's done in a way where it's not there to be judgmental. It's not there to put you down. It's there to hold you, but then also, have you thought about it this way? Have you seen it in that lens? And I think challenging ourselves in this way, and at the end, we could take what resonates and leave the rest, but like just challenging ourselves, it expands our mind. And bringing this podcast to the world is so that our viewers, our listeners can also expand their mind and can also hear something from a different lens, a different perspective. And I think that that's the beauty of this. As I'm hearing everybody speak, I'm like, oh, that's a cool lens. That's a cool angle. Oh, I love what this person said. And I cannot wait to bring more and more of this into the world for all of us in this room, for all of our viewers, our listeners. I think it's just going to be something that is going to be a beautiful ripple of effect. And that is what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. My goodness, it's so amazing to be with you all in that room and putting that into the world. So we are not a random group of women, my dear listeners. We are not. We've been coming together for a while, and yeah, despite the hurts, despite the burns that we all had, because we all did, like we all carrying with us some hurts from past experiences with women. And we all have been troubled with those relationships on the way. And the thing is that if you look at the whole society, it's just so underlying everywhere. Mean girls, look at your back. It's like, oh, who's better? Do I look better? All this constant competition is like, it's like this little voice, in the back of your head. And then you kind of, because of the experiences that we all had, right? You're starting to kind of approaching the relationships with a bit of caution. Like, so you're kind of closing yourself up, you're closing your heart because, just in case, right? Just in case I would just stay a little bit less open. I shouldn't maybe say that because that might bite me in the butt, right? And so there's a lot of these things. And yes, and like Alicia was saying, there was so many groups and she was trying. She was like, she had that want and need in her. I think we all do. That's a kind of very natural thing. And she did those groups and she was still hurt, right? And she kept going. And I think that is the whole point that we want to bring here to the world. That yes, you're gonna get hurt, but man, if you have that willingness to actually go through it, willingness to open your heart, willingness to say, like, yes, you know what, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna try and I'm gonna just be myself. So what is the worst that can happen? That someone will hurt you, right? That someone will use something against you. But what if they don't? What if they don't? Because what is on the other side of that is the whole beauty. And here we have all those women that are rewriting that story. That story is like, yes, I've been hurt, but I'm willing to give it a go. And I'm gonna, yeah, risk it because you know what? I love myself. I love myself enough to hold myself even if I get hurt. And because I'll be okay. But also, like, yeah, it is worth risking. Everything is worth risking. Actually, everything. The building that is worth risking. Because it's interesting, Julie said it's, she saw things like black and white. And I was so like black and white in my life for so long. It's just yes or no. There's nothing in between, right? And it's so easy to put yourself in those little boxes and just lead with fear through all your life because things are either black or white. But when you start opening yourself up, it's like, oh my God, there's so much gray. There's so much gray, which is beautiful. There's so much depths and shadows and light. And it's all so worth it. So that's the point. Come together, open up, and look what can happen. Amazing things can happen. You can start feeling loved and seen and value, not for what you kind of accomplishing, but for who you are with everything you got. And that is the beauty. Because if you never felt that in your life, this is the place to start really seeing that and healing that you can truly feel it, that you can be loved and seen and held and cherished with everything, with all the shit you think you've got that no one wants to know, or you're afraid that if they knew, they wouldn't love you. But that's the whole point. That is you. So if you're not showing your whole you, how can you be fully loved? So this is about the courage. Oh, I forgot to say, I'm Aga Akrut. Let's roll with that.
I love you and I love the concept of courage. And I do believe it's like so important to what you said, like showing up for who you are, not just what you do, but like the who in the what is like such a great reminder, Aga, and I love it so much. And for me and my why, it's like I have no doubt I've attracted at least one woman who's listening, who's the girl who came in because she wants to like negate the sisterhood. She's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna listen to you, and then I'm gonna tell you why sisterhood is actually a scam and a joke, and you guys like that would have been me, and I guarantee I've somehow attracted that. And if that's you and you're listening, stick around because you are in good company. And I know that what feels like resistance can soften into love because that's where I started and that's where I am. So that's my promise to you, I guess. And for me, the perspective that I started my journey on with women, this is not something necessarily that I'm like real proud to broadcast, but the truth is, for years and for most of my life, the lens of my connection to women came through. It was like a lens of my not enoughness, like, oh, she's smart. Why can't I be that smart? She's gorgeous. Why can't I be that gorgeous? And her boobs are amazing. Why can't my boobs be that big? Like, it was a lens of comparison. And it was a lens of comparison because everything in my identity had to do with my ability to attract men. And so we won't get into the wounds of that, but that's the truth. Like, women were threats to what wasn't enough in me, and threats to what I could attract for me. And I guess there was a lack in my ability to go deeper. And for years, I just didn't really try, because what was more important to me is to attract the mate, the man, the love, to be sexy, to be the better one in the room. Like, so shallow. It sounds so shallow, but I promise it came from a depth of my soul of not understanding. I didn't understand. You can't know what you don't know. And it's like my soul was as good as it is today. My heart was as good as it is today. The It was such a protection and I didn't even know it. Like, I love so hard and I just didn't want to be hurt. So it was like, if I could be the best in the room, then I would protect myself from anybody hurting me. It was actually because I was like mush on the inside that I appeared so aggressive on the outside. And when I came to this group, it was the beginning of kind of me learning to be a woman in a different way. And I came in apprehensive, like, we'll see, with the chip on her shoulder. But because my insides are mush, um, it was like, it was an observation of women not competing. It was an observation of women with no expectations of like, there was the first call, I'll never forget, like, I was like, let's try this. It was very rebellious. I was like, oh yeah, let's see. And when I unmuted my mic, I decided to like go big, like be loud and vivacious, because I thought I was so sure it was going to be a turnoff and I was going to be rejected, that I was going to walk away with all the proof I needed. And what happened was like a celebration of women who saw me and were like, well, you're amazing. Welcome. So glad you're here. You belong. And something shifted in me that day that has continued to shift. It was like I could feel it. Like if I had a button, it went pop, and it like popped and I could feel it. I was like, what was that? Because never in my life had a woman said like, wow, like your sparkle is so bright and I love it so much. I didn't have that. Usually it was like, you sparkled too bright. Like, relax. And relax is like so triggering for me because it basically means like stop shining, and I don't want to. And that changed for me, and I decided, you know what, let me try once more. Let me try once more. And each time I tried, I think I fell in love with the women in this room more and more. And the love that I was feeling had them reciprocate the love back to me. And it was like they could see themselves more clearly through me, and I could see myself more clearly through them. And the shift started, and I was like, wait a minute, could I have been wrong my whole life? And the willingness to say, like, oh my gosh, Linda, like, I don't know who taught you or where you picked this note. Like, I don't know where the lesson you thought you, but like, you're wrong. Just say it. You're wrong. You're wrong. Women can show up for you, even jealous, even like, it doesn't matter what feelings we have, we can still like, it's not so much like, why don't I have what you have? It's like, wow, you have that. That means it's possible. That means I can have it too. Like, that was the shift. And I have a daughter who's 17, and I have to tell you, like, what shifted in me in this group and what is continuing to shift for me in this group is so important, because I'm hoping that one day when my daughter sits with her daughter, instead of hearing what I've heard my whole life, which is like, be careful, watch your back, like what August said, like, don't put your boys around her, don't do this, don't do that. It'll be like, I am part of a sisterhood. I look for women to connect with. I look for women to collaborate with. I look for women to love and to share with. That's what I hope I one day hear my daughter tell her daughter, because it stopped with me and I started something so special with her that will continue. And when in our opening we say this is legacy work, like, I couldn't mean that more. And that's my why. And if you're a rebel without a cause, stick around. We got lots for you.
Thank you, Linda. Wow, you got me fired up now. And I just, to get to my why, I have to take you back when I was a little girl. I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, and we had just moved to this new neighborhood, and there were two girls out riding their bike, and I was like, oh, like a chance to make friends, you know what I mean? And I went outside, and I was shy a little bit, and I just kind of like stood in the driveway. It was like a kind of like a roundabout thing, and they were riding their bikes, and I got up the courage to like walk closer to them, and I was like, "Can I play with y'all?" And they just both started giggling. They were like, "We don't want to play with you," and just rode off on their bike. And I remember as a little kid, I was like, "Oh, that hurt." You know what I mean? Like it really hurt. And I just sat down in my driveway and started crying. And then to make it even more traumatizing, my mom looks out the window and she's like, "Jennifer, why are you crying?" And I was like, "Those girls don't want to play with me." And she was like, "So what? Like, get up. It's no big, who cares? Don't play with them then if they're like that. Just." And so it was like I had the hurt and the pain of feeling rejected. And then I had the hurt and the pain of feeling judged for my reaction to that rejection. And I didn't realize how I had carried that into my adulthood. And even sometimes I still like, I'm content to just sit back, even though I know like I have something burning to contribute, because there's that fear of like, and I've always been the weirdo. Like in my family, I'm the weirdo. Like I'm just the weird chick, you know what I mean? And so it's been, and then I don't know if you're listening, if you know about human design, but manifestors, we just have this way. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm such an amazing person, but like you gotta like give me a shot. You know what I mean? Like you have to actually open yourself up and give me a shot to be able to see that. But I had carried that, and it wasn't so much I had a sister wound of like people doing me wrong. It was like I had a belonging wound. And so I would show up in circles like everybody else belonged, and I was the one who slipped through the cracks. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how I'm here, but, hope nobody figures out that, I wasn't invited kind of vibe. And that inadvertently repelled people. I didn't know that bringing that energy to a space would actually repel the very people that I was just so desperately praying. Like, I want to connect. Like, I know I'm an amazing person. I know there's amazing women out there, and I want to connect. Like, I want that camaraderie that we spoke about. I want that relationship and those connections. And so for me, the why in like this group, like we mentioned earlier, we've been meeting, for a year. I haven't made all of those, but every single call that I've made, I have felt seen. And not just seen in my, oh my God, I'm so sparkly today. Like I have been seen in my freaking snot, in my tears, in my fears, in my, I'm not going to make it through this. I'm going to crash and burn. I just wanted y'all to be the last to see me before that happens. Like, but it never happens because there's always a sister there to see me, to witness me. And if you're listening and you feel like, yeah, right, like I don't want anybody to know the hell that I'm going through. I don't want anybody to, like, I'm so freaking embarrassed, y'all. I have been through domestic violence. I've been through sexual abuse. I've been through divorce. I have been through single motherhood, living in public housing, eating government cheese. I have been too broke to buy toilet paper and toothpaste. Like, I have been places in the dark, in the freaking darkest of the dark. And what I have discovered is that when you have the ability to dig deep within yourself and know that there's that light, you don't need like the whole flaming fire. You just need a little spark. And then when you get around other people who also have that spark, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking with grease, as they say. Now the flames are flaming. And sisterhood has the true aligned sisterhood has the power to be that burning flame in your life that could burn away the jealousy, that can burn away the comparison, that can transmute all of those things. And it's not that they won't come up. Let's be real. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that you're going to be one time you have a deliverance and I never feel jealousy again. Like, that's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. You will feel it. But the power is in acknowledging it, because all of those dark places that I had been, it was in the power of acknowledging it. I thought I was protecting myself, by not sharing. But it turns out it was like a grip. It was like choking my voice, choking my authenticity, choking my power, choking my ability to serve. And when I had the courage to just open up, share, this is what's so right now, and this is what I want to transmute. There is power in that. The grip lessens, and you now, instead of gripping this, now your arms are open to receive the love that you've asked for, the sisterhood, the connection that you've asked for. And so I just want to encourage anybody listening, like, yes, it's going to feel scary. Yes, you're going to feel vulnerable. Yes, you're going to need some courage. But listen, women are fucking rock stars. I don't care where you've been. I don't care how bad you think it is. You are a rock star. You're so freaking powerful. And that's my why. I want you to leave every single podcast that we talk about and remember that power, to tap into that, regardless of where you're at in life. Your situation does not dictate your power. Your mentality dictates your power. Your perception of yourself dictates your power. And through this podcast, I pray and intend that you will be tapped into that power, and that you will leave every gathering with a stronger sense of your knowing, a stronger sense that you fucking matter, as is right now where you are. Sending y'all so much love. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my goodness, Linda and Jennifer. It's so incredible. So many things actually that came out to my head when I was listening to you. First of all, like Linda, when you were talking about this first time when you came to the group, it's it's this exposure. So that's the whole point. If you have no one, because for so long I had no one to kind of, you dream and like you have this longing in your soul, and you might deny it now. You might say, I don't need it. It's like, yes, you do. You're just lying to yourself. That's the reality of it. We have this longing, right? To be seen and to be heard this way. And the exposure, if you don't have the means to where to go, this is your place. Witness what is possible. This is the place. When I came first to that group, I was like, what the hell? Everyone's like, I love you, you're amazing. And I literally said that. It's like, what? I was very uncomfortable with that. And then 2 calls later, I was like, I love you. Where were you my whole life? And this is so powerful, just to feel it. It's like Linda said, that switch. That's literally, it's like this little button. It's like, holy heavens just opened. It's fucking incredible. So yes, expose yourself to this or to any other places. And don't take those hurts as a hard evidence, because there's so much other evidence out there, but you have to open yourself to them. And what is the beauty about the connection that women share? You can actually see them within the really little girls. I have 2 sons and I have a little daughter, and I was working with kids for years and years. I was working like in kindergartens, and I was teaching kids yoga and like loads of small kids anyway. And what is incredible, the girls, small girls, like they connect instantly. Well, look, I lost the word again. But it's incredible. They just come up to each other. It was like, hi, you wanna play? And holding hands, they're best friends. And then we start to be reconditioned. I mean, it's like, no, that is not how it works. No, because that's bullshit. That's exactly how it works. Boys don't connect the same way. We do. And then we've been told that this is bullshit. This is all going back to the truth of the love, of being in that love. And it's so freaking amazing. So now I feel like this little girl, and you can feel like this little girl. Just give me your hand and just let's skip along.
I absolutely love everything all of you are expressing. And as I was listening to all of you, I remembered a story that I had forgotten for a very long time. And I remember what it was like for me being in high school. I wanted my, loudness and my like everything to shine through, but I felt so inadequate. So inadequate. And I wasn't part of the cool girls groups or anything like that. And the way that I connected at one point in time is through my heritage. So we used to have variety nights at my high school where we used to do different things. Some people would sing, dance, do different things. And so there was this group that came together to perform and do salsa dancing. And I joined because I love dancing. And they let me join because I knew how to dance. But what happened is I felt marginalized by the other Spanish girls because they were the cool girls. And, they were like, yeah, you can join us and yeah, whatever. And I felt small and I felt alone. And one of those girls was like very beautiful, and all the guys wanted to date her, and she was popular and all of this. And she just looked at me like with this sense of arrogance. It's like, yeah, we let you in, And I always felt small around her. Anyways, high school ended, life went on. And years later, my parents, the neighborhood where my parents lived, there was a store, like a drugstore, where they sell different things. And I went in with my mom, and my mom had heard all of these things in the past, right? Like how these girls were with me and all of it. And one of them was working as a cashier at the drugstore. And by this time, I was a mortgage broker running my own business with my kids, my husband. I was on top of the world kind of thing. And this woman was working as a cashier. She had gained weight. I had heard that she had a failed marriage. She had kids. And part of me felt like I wanted to show her that I won. Part of me felt like I wanted to stick it to her. And part of me felt a sense of satisfaction where she was compared to where I was. And it's like, holy shit. this is what happens when we hurt each other and we don't forgive and we just keep going on with life, with armor and shields and, you know, me versus you. And let me tell you, as I have been on this journey with this group of women and other women in my life, I have made such a vow to do everything I can not to hurt another woman, and to do everything that I can for women to feel safe around me. And that is not about comparison. And today, the woman that I am today, I would offer her free coaching. I would see how can I support her. I'd want to just be her sister and say whatever happened in the past when we were kids is in the past. And I would see her for the powerful woman that she is and for everything that she has done to get through in life and to raise her children and to show up to work and to be courageous in spite of whatever suffering she's dealt with. So this is why we're here. So we can share our stories, so we can share who we've been. And honestly, I have hurt women. I have compared myself to them. I have felt jealous. I have put women down. I have belittled women. You know, so we're not here to say, look, we're perfect now. But it is to say, we're going to share our truth like we do with each other in the calls that we've been having. We're going to be honest and vulnerable and raw like we have been being with one another. And that in itself is what has created the trust between us. That in itself has melted shame. I went through a period of time as we've been doing these calls where I lost my job. I fell behind on my rent. I had to go to the food bank to get food. And these women held me in the highest regard. And they never let me forget my power. They never let me forget who I am. Because they didn't see me for what I have. They saw me for who I am. And yeah, that's what I want to emphasize throughout this podcast, is that we see each other for who we are. And we see each other for our brilliance and our wildness and our wittiness and all of it as divinity, because that's who we are. We are divinity in human form. And yeah, so to all the women who feel hurt because someone else did or said something that made them feel small, let's have compassion and forgiveness in our hearts and in our souls. Because guess what? I have done that too. I have made other women feel small in my presence. I have competed against them. And so, yeah, I have made that vow that I will do my best, and I'll make mistakes, and I still feel jealousy. I still want to compare myself. All of those things are still there. But that self-awareness has given me such a deep reverence for other women, and seeing their souls and really doing my best to be a sister and be a safe space. And so that's what I'm inviting all of us to be for one another, because the more I have been being that, the more both of my daughters, who one is 25 and another one is almost 20, have gotten to experience and be in what it feels like to be safe with another woman, and to share and to be everything that you are, the crying, whatever shows up, and that we can hold one another and we can sit with one another. Okay, I often picture when we're all sharing, you know, I often picture me sitting with whichever sister is sharing from her soul, whatever she's dealing with, like sitting on the floor with her, holding her hand, not trying to fix it for her, but just saying, I am sitting here with you. I'm with you. And so we are here with you. And we love you so deeply.
Maria, thank you so much. Maria, thank you so much, because what you stressed here was being, being over whatever else happens. And my name is Anna Frasch. I didn't present myself, but what has come to me really today is the power of being. Because you can see only what is. And whatever you feel sometimes, as Maria shared so vulnerably, is also part of you, but what you are is your choice still. So you can let things go. And you have always a choice of being this safe space or a space that is not so safe. So even when I was deciding today, should I come? Should I skip that? I thought, come on, there's a big part in me that wants to be here, that can trust. Even if there are those parts of me that feel a bit uneasy, a bit jealous, a bit small, still I have a choice to dig deeper, to be whatever that means. And this is what happens here. So this is an invitation extended to all of us, to you, the listener, and to me, myself, to be and to trust what is. And I think it's now over to Marta, right?
Hi, guys, ladies. Yeah, I just wanted to end with, this is so cool. I just think it's so cool. Like the whole thing is just neat. And just to say out there for anybody, if you're listening to this, I've had a podcast for 10 years. Julie has a podcast. Linda has a podcast. Jennifer has a podcast. We're all probably going to have a podcast after this. Let's just say it. Even if you're listening to this, everybody's going to have a podcast, because everybody should, because it's essentially like how you learn about yourself, and you talked into it and you learn about yourself, and it's amazing. But what I want to say is, if you're listening to this, a couple of things. This is our first one. And I'm just so proud of us. Like, I'm just so proud of us. If you guys even knew how effortlessly this came together, you know how, like, when you push something and it just feels like you're pushing something, this just clicked. Like, it just came together. And I just want to take a moment to honor Melanie and Lair that brought us together with Alpha Femme. I want to take a moment to honor Cassidy, which her last name is killing me right now. What is her last name? What is Cassidy's last name?
Cassidy Amber Chapman.
Cassidy Amber Chapman, who literally was the first woman like I was already hosting my own circles, but I mentioned this in the last one. I was doing it in a way where I was craving sisterhood, but I wasn't showing up in vulnerability. Like I was doing it in a way where it was like, I can be here. I don't have to share things. I don't have to be vulnerable. I don't have to cry. I'm running this show. Like so like it's like the caregiver of our life, the teacher, the guide, the woman that holds everything, the mother, I don't have to share. And she was doing these calls, these open mic calls. And I remember I walked in and there was a celebration and I was like, what? And it changed everything. And I realized in that moment, I shared that I felt, and I'll share this real quick because it just came through. Like she said that we were having a party. Like imagine a party where everybody's wearing a dress and we all like show up and, like we're all celebrating at this party. And I remember thinking to myself, I want to be there. I'm not fully there. I don't believe that I belong yet, but I want to be there. Like, I want to know what that feels like to stand in a room at a party with all of these women and feel so strong and so powerful. And I feel that now. So, whoa, holy shit. Like, I just realized we're at a party. Whoa. Oh, okay. So, whoa, that's so cool. So I want to share this. I shared this with the ladies. I felt really called to it. I have this deck. When my sister died, it was her deck, and it's the deck of the Cosmic Dancer Oracle because I love to dance. And it was my sister's, and I have pulled cards from it for 5 years before she died, and I pulled this card for everybody because I felt really called to it, and it just encapsulated the vibe so perfectly. So I just want to read it real quick. I won't read the exercise that you do, but I'll read the rest of the stuff. Like, pause. I can't see. I'm 44. Like the moon's luminous glow, a star's steadfast sparkle, or the sun's golden rays of warming fire, you have a unique light to shine. And you are encouraged to do this now. So if you're listening to this, like see if you can suck this in. It's time for you to claim the lead role in your life. No more hiding in the wings or playing small. It's time to show up big, to be seen, heard, and radiate your gorgeous brilliance for the world to see. While it's natural to have inhibitions, now is the time to transform them in the chalice of your heart's purifying flame. Reframe fear as excitement. Reframe shyness and reticence as opportunities to move out of your comfort zone and to feel all the exhilaration that comes with being seen, known, and recognized for who you really are. You have a right to take up both physical and energetic space. Who you are matters. What you say matters. What your heart of hearts so dearly wants to express matters. As such, honor your unique gifts and talents as well as your beautiful voice in all forms of self-expression. Share them, express them with joy, and spread your personality and beauty like shooting stars across the sky. There is plenty of space for all beings to show up in the full flowering of who they are. By brilliantly shining and sharing your unique ray, you naturally support others in doing the same. Your charisma is a gift that only you can give, and the world needs it to operate at its fullest potential, so don't hold back. Consider the way a performing artist must send her energy to the very back row of a theater. Similarly, your auric field is a sphere of energy that extends beyond your skin's encapsulated boundaries, and you can consciously expand it as generously as you choose. Conversely, remember to appreciate and revel in the radiant sparkle and success of others. Taking the time to savor another's beautiful light has the benefit of magnifying and intensifying your own. I just want to share that. I feel like it summarizes so perfectly. And I usually don't pull cards or anything like that. And it was just like beautiful. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you for sharing that, Marta. podcast number 1 in the books. I'm going to close this out, but please join us again. Please get to know us. Please let us get to know you. There's magic in this room. And the more you come, the bigger it grows. So the circle closes for now, but the energy remains. Thank you for being part of this lineage of love. Until we meet again inside the codes of sisterhood, remember, you are seen, you are sacred, and you belong. So much love.